out and just please raise your hand. Coach?
Been doing this a long time, and I don't know that I've ever been as proud of our second. Well, as a group of players or a group of coaches for the way they came out and battled and played tonight. We talked about it in the team meeting. Last night we were going to go after it. We were going to call this game aggressively on offense, defense, and special teams, but particularly on offense. As I did a self-evaluation, kind of looked at the past few weeks, and in some ways, the fabric of the season, I felt like I lost my identity as a play caller. And instead of worrying about what could go wrong in protection and throws and routes, we were going to worry about what was going right. We were going to go after it. And I think we performed well in all three phases. Certainly things to clean up, but it feels great to be another top 20 team. And appreciate all the fans who came out and supported us.
Questions? We'll get a mic to you. Start with Brett.
This was obviously a trying week for Nick on many levels. Was that kind of involved in his process this week? How do you think he approached the week and the game?
I think the same as he has. I'm incredibly proud of Nick. We talked to him specifically going into this week about what we were going to do with the game plan, and that we wanted him to stop overanalyzing things, and we wanted him to utilize the week to prepare and then go out on the field and play, and stop thinking so much and do the things that he does well, which is drop back, read it, throw it, or run it. So, as you mentioned, for all the BS that kids had to endure, for parts of this season, and everything that he's done to lay his heart and soul on the line and his body on the line for this university and have to listen to that stuff, for him to come out and play this type of football, the type of football we talked about him playing, and we talked about it being a process and him growing to this type of player. I'm happy for every single person in our program tonight, but I'm most happy for that kid because he deserves it, and that's the way we expect Nick Fitzgerald to play.
Coach, you come out with some juice there, make the big connection with Osiris Mitchell there, and he's another kid that's had some tough luck. How big was that for the offense?
It was great, and I think it was representative of what we wanted to do tonight as an offense, and they bought into it. We watched the film last night, and I got up and talked to the whole offense, and took ownership of some of the conservativeness, but told them that we can't be as effective as we want to be as an offense without us passing the football and creating explosive plays. And that's been my identity. That's been this offense's identity. And I don't want to say we got away from it, but we did the things that were necessary for us to be successful. We practiced it well during the week, and most importantly, the kids executed it today. So proud of them.
Right.
You mentioned being more aggressive. What about your play calling is different when you're in attack mode than when you're not? How did it change tonight?
I think the kids feed off of it, number one. But once again, you're not going to create a ton of explosive plays. I won't say with a conservative mindset, but a run-first mindset. And as we talked about earlier in the week, this offense operates best when we run the ball successfully, and people have to either pressure us or commit numbers to the box. And when they do, and as we've done in the past, we throw the ball over their head. And that's the part that was missing. And heading into the week and heading into this game, we said we're going to do it. We're going to protect. We're going to run the routes, and he's going to throw the ball. So I think they fed off of that aggressiveness.
You talk about being aggressive, but to start the game, you guys were doing a lot of quick passes.
Yep.
How important were those to kind of get the rhythm going, and then you guys go and score on that drive too?
Yeah, that's a good observation. When we start the game, I script a series of openers, so it may not be a calculated throw down the field, but we want to show some different formations, get the ball in his hand, generate a little confidence, coming off the past few weeks, a couple bubble screens, some quick game, and then once he got his feet underneath him, then we opened it up a little bit. So part of that is to see how they're playing us, and then we, talk about them selling.
Paul?
Coach, you had a couple key defensive starters out with Brian Cole and Braxton Poyet, but the job that Jaquarius Landrews and Corey Thomas and Lee Autry did, the depth that those guys bring in, just the night that Jaquarius had.
It was, and Colin Hilby not too. So, it sounds cliche, but that's the mentality of this football team. We talk about next man in, and if somebody goes down or they're injured or they can't play, the person that goes in is going to do as good or better of a job. And I can't, the way our defense played tonight and throughout the season, and the job that Coach Shoup and his staff have done, and the way the players have executed it, and Jaquarius coming in and guys just stepping up and filling in with Braxton being out, I think it speaks volumes for the defense. It speaks volumes for the culture of this program, because we're going to win immediately, and we're building a foundation to win a championship here in the future.
Hey, Coach, was there anything that A&M was doing specifically defensively that allowed Nick to flourish, especially in the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics going into the game, they're giving up 80 yards a game rushing, and I think Coach Elko is one of the best in the business. And whether it's by secondary support or by pressure, they blitzed. I don't know the number, but I'm guessing it was upwards of 75%. So when you're bringing 4, bringing 5, and you're going to get some people singled up. So that was part of it. And trying to take away the run game, it opened up some things for the pass, and we're finally able to take advantage of it.
Okay.
At what point did Kylan do anything at practice this week? At what point did you know you were going to be without him today?
Yeah, he tried. We rehabbed for a couple days, and then kind of tried to have him do some stuff on Thursday. But it just I'd say Thursday after practice. We kept rehabbing yesterday, but I think we got a pretty good pool on Thursday.
Coach, kind of a breakout game for Stephen Guidry. How would you assess his performance tonight?
Stephen, I think that's kind of like you talk about the offense, and this was the expectation level of what we could do. This is kind of what we were expecting Stephen to do, and I think we've seen glimpses of it throughout the season. And for him to come out and have a breakout game, just once again validation for him as well. And as I told the guys last night, it's going to come together, offense, defense, and special teams, and when it does, it's going to be beautiful. And it's a credit to these kids for coming in every single day, and whether we won or we lost, whether we played well or didn't play well, had the same mindset, had the same attitude, had the same mentality. We practiced well, and we just knew it was a matter of time before we put the whole thing together.
Coach, you guys, over here, Coach. You guys were 7 of 12 on third down. A&M came into the game second, third down defense. How big was it to get those conversions, especially in those third and long situations?
Yeah, we got off the schneid a little bit there. We were 2 for 14 last week, so I think that was part of what allowed us to be successful and continue drives, obviously, when you convert. But their third down pressure package is as extensive and exotic as we've seen. And we figured we had to max protect and do some things to get guys singled up. But if we're able to bounce back off of last week's performance, it was allowing us to extend some drives. That definitely helped convert third downs.
Tyler in the front.
You mentioned how stingy Texas A&M's run defense was. Knowing that you guys were probably going to have to throw the ball tonight, how refreshing was it to see you guys have success there? And is this sort of a model that you can use down the road against other SEC teams?
Yes, that's good. It's kind of the basis and foundation of the offense, and you go back and historically that's what we've done. And this is honestly the first time, but against SEC competition, this is the first time where if a team decided to take away the run and do things to limit that aspect of our game, that we were able to come back and be successful in the other one. I think we might talk about that a little bit earlier.
David.
Talking about the play calling and third down efficiency, some of it just when Nick Fitzgerald's able to roll out and hit Stephen on that play, is that the creativity too that players can do on their own that can't be scripted? Yeah,
that was a broken play right there. And we do practice scramble drills, so when he gets flushed out of the pocket, we have rules for that. A great adjustment by Stephen, and it also went along with what we talked to Nick about this week, that you just need to be a football player. Do what you do best. You go through your reads, it's not there, take off and run or scramble and look to make a play. And that, I think that may have been, at least offensively speaking, the pivotal point in the game.
Brett and Tyler.
Quickly on Braxton Hoyette, what's his situation?
Lower body, another day-to-day deal.
Okay. Yeah. And Errol Thompson had another awesome game tonight. He's been doing that all year. What's kind of been unleashed about him this year?
I don't know. Obviously very talented player. The whole linebacking core, but he kind of runs the operation, makes the calls, sets the front, gets the coverage and the pressures aligned. But just very cerebral, kind of a quarterback of the defense, I guess, so to speak. And when you match intelligence and talent and execution, that's usually the result. Very, very proud of him.
follow up on Arrow, he was flying around the field today. When other players see that, do you notice that they kind of feed off of that? Because it seemed like a lot of guys were playing with the play style that he plays with.
Yes, and I think our defense plays with a lot of controlled aggression. Sometimes we're a little, a couple offsides penalties, a couple, face masks and things like that, but I'd rather say whoa than sick 'em. And you don't have to worry about these guys going hard after it. And Coach Shoop's done a great job with the mentality of the defense, and I think that's a big part of it. When you have this much talent, that comes back and to be able to mold them, particularly coming off the fact that, the defense was pretty successful last year. For him to be able to step that up a level, I think it's been great that the kids have, bought into his coaching staff.
Brett?
You were clearly pretty fiery and energetic after that first touchdown. You mentioned the quote BS that Fitz had to put up with. You had to put up with some of that too. What did that moment mean to you?
I don't worry about any of that stuff. I deal with reality, not perception. But it just meant a lot to me. They say attitude reflects leadership. I wanted the kids. I was fired up, so that wasn't fake emotion. I was kind of juiced. But I also wanted our kids to see that I was walking the walk, not talking the talk. That we talked about. Like as I mentioned for the fourth time, I apologize. But this is going to be a game of passion. This is going to be a game of aggression, and then we're going to go after it tonight and leave nothing on the table.
You go into halftime down 10-7. What was your message to the team?
We were down 3 points against a very, very good, well-coached football team. Coach Fisher's done an unbelievable job there in his first year, and that we need to come out and play a little harder, execute a little better. And there was no sense, and that's kind of, you talk about the culture of this program. We don't want emotional peaks and valleys. We don't want our guys on the roller coaster. We want them playing hard all the time. But our reaction to prosperity and adversity has to be the same, and that's what I wanted to see from our coaching staff. And I want to say it was businesslike, but they knew we had to stop on defense, get some scores on offense, and our confidence has never waned this season. So, and getting that score early on, that certainly helped.
All right. Thank you. We'll have players.